A simple woman was mocked as a washed-up soldier until a general froze at her classified tattoo. Have you ever watched a grown mana-decorated general? No Lesko, completely pale at the sight of a tattoo? I have. And it all started because an HOA president named Karen couldn't stand the idea of a quiet, strong woman minding her own business in a house that didn't match her pastel fence code. My name's Elena. I don't look like much. Never have. I'm 5 feet 6 inches, weigh 118 soaking wet, and I wear the same steel-toed boots and army hoodie I've had since Kandahar. I moved into a quiet corner lot at Windmere Lakes, HOA, last spring. Not because I wanted to, but because it was all I could afford that was near a VA hospital and far enough from memories I wasn't ready to unpack. I kept to myself, tended to my garden, fixed my own siding. But that wasn't good enough for Karen. Karen Elkins, HOA president. Power-tripping tyrant stuffed into floral polyester, with short-cropped hair, fake pearls, and arms like overfilled sausage links. She walked the block twice a day like it was a military patrol clipboard in one hand, emotional damage in the other. She didn't like me from the start. Maybe it was the boots, or the lack of curtains, or the fact that I never smiled when she waved. But I think deep down it was that I never bowed. It boiled over one morning at the monthly HOA breakfast, which I'd been guilted into attending by my neighbor Paul, a retired firefighter with a busted hip and a good heart. I figured one muffin wouldn't kill me. Karen saw me step into the pavilion and immediately scowled. She waddled over like a heat-seeking missile. "Well, look who's finally decided to join the civilized world," she said, loud enough for everyone to hear. I nodded. "Morning." She looked me up and down like I was a stain. "Still dressing like it's war out there?" I didn't answer. Karen turned to the crowd. "I heard she was in the military. Probably washed out. Not all of them make it past boot camp. Bless their hearts." A few people laughed nervous laughs, mostly. I could have walked away, but something in me cracked. So I set my coffee down, stepped forward, and calmly said, "You ever serve, Karen?" She chuckled. "I serve this community every day." "No. I mean, have you ever seen a mortar land 30 yards from your sleeping bag? Had to carry a wounded kid through open fire? Watch your friend lose their legs because the supply truck got the route wrong?" The silence spread like wildfire. Karen scoffed. "You're being dramatic." I didn't raise my voice. Instead, I rolled up my sleeve. My left forearm, pale from years under long sleeves, bore a solid black tattoo's even digits. No decoration, no flourish, just a string of numbers, inked clean, flanked by 2 vertical black lines. Karen squinted at it. "Oh, please. What is that? Some kind of barcode?" Prison joke. But someone else froze. A tall man in uniform, near the buffet, table retired Lieutenant General Marcus Weller. He'd come as a guest speaker, supposedly to talk about leadership and community resilience. He stepped forward slowly, his eyes locked on the tattoo like it had spoken. That's a tear. One ops tag," he said quietly. Karen blinked. "A what?" Weller turned to her, voice low but sharp. "That's not a tattoo you joke about. That's assigned to deep classified JSOC embedded operatives. Only about 40 of those tags exist. And if she's got one, she didn't just make it past boot camp. She bled for it." Karen stammered. "You must be mistaken. She's just... she mows her own lawn." That's when Paul, the neighbor who invited Mesdude up. "I serve in Nam," he said, "and I've never seen anyone shovel their own driveway in the middle of a whiteout, then clear the neighbors too without a word. She never brags, never complains. And if she's got that ink, she earned it. End of story." Karen's face twisted. "So what? Now she gets to ignore HOA codes because of some tattoo." But then came twist number 1. General Weller pulled out his phone and made a call right there, in front of everyone. "Yes, this is Marcus Weller. Clearance Alpha 2 Zulu. I need confirmation on Ops Tag 774X Black." Karen's jaw dropped. "What are you doing?" 30 seconds later, he nodded, then ended the call. "She's legitimate," he said. And until now, her file was locked under Operation Granite Tide. Karen stuttered. That's not even a real name." But 2 other veterans stood up, one by one. "I know what that tag means," said one. She outtranks every damn one of us in here, said the other. And then came twist number 2. Weller turned to the board. I was going to give a speech today, he said, but I think the real lesson is this: when someone gives everything and asks for nothing, maybe don't humiliate them in front of their neighbors. He nodded at me. Thank you for your service, Agent Tran. My last name hadn't been spoken aloud in that town until that moment. Not even once. Karen went silent. But her silence wasn't humility. It was fear. Karen didn't speak for the rest of the meeting. Her hand trembled as she clutched that clipboard like it was her last shred of control. The smugness drained from her face, replaced by something sour and unfamiliar. Regret? Doubt? Or maybe the slow, sinking realization that her power didn't reach past her petty bylaws. I didn't need to say another word. I just rolled my sleeve back down, grabbed my coffee, and quietly walked to the edge of the pavilion. I could feel eyes following Minute in suspicion this time, but in respect. That afternoon, everything changed. General Weller called a meeting with the HOA Advisory Board, even though he wasn't a resident. He said, "What I saw today wasn't just ignorance. It was systemic disrespect toward a decorated service member who's done more for this country than all your clipboards combined." He called for an external audit of the HOA's leadership. And what that audit uncovered was damning. Twist number 3. Karen had been falsifying violations. Over 30 homeowners had received code violations that were never voted on by the board. She'd pocketed over $22,000 in false fines through a compliance fund linked to her personal Venmo. The icing on the cake? She used those fines to fund her failed community heritage beautification projectica, a patio expansion behind her house with imported stone from Italy. It didn't stop there. Several veterans in the neighborhood have been subtly targeted flag-size complaints, noise accusations during VA telehealth calls, and one who was fined for flying a POWMIA flag. Weller went public. He contacted the local newspaper. They ran a story titled, "From Valor to Violation, the HOA that tried to silence a soldier." My face wasn't in the story, but my tattoo was. Blacked out, mostly, except for the 2 parallel lines. And those who knew, knew. By the following weekend, the board held a vote. Karen was unanimously removed as HOA president, her credentials stripped, her club email revoked, and every fine sheet issued without board consent was declared void. A few residents wanted to press charges for fraud. The county opened a formal review. Karen moved out 3 weeks later. No goodbye, no explanations. Just a U-Haul and a red face seen through the blinds as she slammed the door for the last time. As for me, I stayed. Neighbors who once looked past me now waved. Paul brought fresh-baked bread every Thursday. Little kids asked about the garden I was building. I was no longer invisible. Not because of a speech. Not because of a badge. Because of truth. I was offered a role community advisor. I said no. Not because I didn't care, but because leadership, real leadership, doesn't wear a title. It shows up silently when no one else does. Sometimes in boots, sometimes with a shovel, sometimes with nothing but a scar and a tattoo that still burns on quiet nights. Karen's gone now. The fences she built metaphorically and literally are coming down. The community she tried to shape in her image, it's learning how to breathe again. So let me ask you, was I wrong to stay quiet until the moment she struck? Or was it the only way to show a bully what real strength looks like? The end.